A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave it too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the movement going on. Right here where we stand, man. We bucking and stumping, fist pumping. Even though they tried to set us up for failure and kill us, we keep on coming. That's why somebody gotta step up and say something about the bullshit. Because if not, the blind gon' keep leading. What's going on, y'all? Y'all want to make this video real quick. I was just looking at some things on Karmelo case, because I was just, found out today he has like 6 attorneys. Let's see, Russell Wilson, Michael Ware, Gary Bledsoe, let's see, Brooke Cluse, I believe it's Sean Deradia, and then Justin A. Moore. So, and the reason he has 6, which I because I was like wondering, like, okay, we got 6 attorneys. I know they all going to handle a different role, you know what I'm saying? So, the lead attorney, Russell Wilson, which he's going to pretty much oversee the case. He's basically like the counsel that will, oversee everything and pretty much guide the direction of how they'll challenge it. So he'll be the overall, I said strategist and team leader of the case. And see, Michael Ware, he's like a senior trial and criminal defense attorney that will try to find those like procedural errors and stuff like that. I guess particular evidentiary rulings, let's say constitutional issues, and also draft appellate procedures. I know they did say Gary Bledsoe was like a constitutional specialist or whatever. He's the 3rd chair. So first leading counsel, Russell Wilson. The second, second leading counsel, Michael Ware. 3rd is Gary Bledsoe. Like I say, he looks, constitutional specialist, looking for certain constitutional issues. Let me see. And co-counsel, 3 co-counsels, which is Sean Deradia, Brooke Cluse, and then Justin A. Moore. And so they will end up, the co-counsels will end up also, going over the transcripts, because they're saying like it's thousands, maybe thousands of pages, a trial. So they're going to be going through that, trying to find maybe certain procedural errors, also preparing appellate briefs, things of that nature for the case. So they'll be like the ongoings. If you have top three, I guess the strategy would be the top 3. Like you got those 3 attorneys, then you got the other 3, going, I guess you want to say it's going up, where you got these basically these top 3 attorneys, then you got 3 going up, pushing, so like I said, research, whatever findings, particular arguments up to the 3 lawyers, that are heading the case, and then those lawyers will proceed with whatever, proving of the filings that, and things that they may find, and certain issues, actually, arguing certain issues in the case. So I'm just glad, man. I'm really glad that he has that team. I think he will get fairness that he deserves. Get some type of justice. It's like, and regardless of what everybody's saying, this is the thing. This is what we have to be aware of too, man. Regardless of what people are saying, oh, well, he did it, he's guilty, this, he shouldn't have brought a knife to school, and this and that and the other. But it was a spontaneous event that occurred. And instead of throwing somebody away saying, okay, because people even the post on my channel have said he should get the chair. Basically should get the death penalty. Like, he should have got more than 35 years. All type of stuff, not giving any consideration to the law and what happened in the case. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wouldn't even say, like I said, I go on to say this. If you wished ill on him like that, You're not even considering or having remorse or having any type of condolences for the family. You just want to see a young man, a young black man burn. This is what it is. Don't know, and that's irregardless of even caring about the family. You know what I'm saying? You just rather see ill will on Karmelo Anthony. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, man. You know, because you had to think about it. And then I'm telling people out there, I'm telling y'all out there, even in this sense, you had to think about it even if it was as your kid. You know what I'm saying? Your kid getting in trouble, also the family that the incident, end up losing their son. So you got to consider both sides and just instead of saying, oh, I just want him to burn or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like doing my research, find out what, like I said, the brother T. Sturdy said, one of the brothers that looked at the video before it was released, went to the school and, I said, sign the NDA and, all of that so he could see the video. He wanted to come to the conclusion, man, I just need to know, was he guilty or not? And if he was guilty, he should suffer the consequences. But if he's not guilty, he should not suffer the consequences. And he should be allowed to argue self-defense because that is a reasonable argument. That is based on the law, a legal argument. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just can't jump to no conclusion just because you feel, you think that this young man is guilty. So anyway, I want to say that, I'm just glad he got representation. Feel like he's going to get a fair, process this time. He'll get fair due process on the law, an appellate process, and being possibly getting the case overturned or something done about it to where he'll get a fair, proceeding, going back through the process, getting a fair trial, and if he gets a new trial, or at least some type of appellate review, and that he gets a fair, day in court or a fair review of his appeal, So, but anyway, I want to talk about that. And back to Charleston White, man. I had to mention this again. This is something I think we need to be aware of. Regardless of what happens to us in life, you trying to get to a certain point in life. What we have to understand is like, you have to stay on course, because certain things can get you off course and then blind you, and that's why I said in the prior video, it's like what happened to him. He was the juvenile, advocate, going to city council meetings, speaking on behalf of juveniles and just injustice in general, you know what I'm saying? But, which he said he had got upset because somebody, like a shootout, or not shootout, but drive-by, I guess somebody shot in somebody's house, ended up killing either grandma or the kids, something like that. He just said F it, like F these dudes, F this, this, I can't do nothing about it. It just ain't working or whatever. And then he just like can't start becoming abrasive, and that it got attention, right? But the whole thing is this, man, regardless of that, it's always a way to do things, and it don't matter if it is, this is something like you just get so offended, you just like give up, you know what I'm saying? Because in a sense, you gave up being that particular person that fought and advocated for you to being somebody that's attracted to the light. You got so much so attracted to the light and to where it done blinded you. Like I said in the prior video, it blinded you from who you really were, who you were fighting for, your purpose and what you were trying to do. Now you would say, you would probably come back and say, oh, well, I was doing it for this purpose and I was just, saying, trying to get people's attention, but at the same time, you attracted the wrong attention. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, you got people that want to see ill will. Want to see, and you can come back and try to say, yeah, man, but I was doing it for this purpose. But at the same time, if you got people really want to see your downfall because they felt offended by what you did, then it's really nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's already in people's heart. Like, hey, I want to see your ill will. I want to see your demise, and I'll seek, you know what I'm saying, your demise, some form of fashion, try to harm you or do some type of detrimental or something, detrimental to you, So I would say that, man, so we can't never get off course the word, man. We're trying to do something, you know what I'm saying, and end up throwing away who we really are, because we got blinded by a certain way or something that end up getting us attention and then blinding us to the real truth, to the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I said before as well, we as men, we had to stand on certain principles. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting out there and I'm just gonna go buck wild, to get some attention, to bring some attention to a situation, it's always another way to do it to where you don't offend someone. Same thing about conversation. Even me, you know what I'm saying? Like conversating with people. I've been abrasive. And that's another thing, you know what I'm saying? I had to speak about it, speak about this on because I've been abrasive, but it's always a way to say it better to where a person, you can be firm and direct, but they'll understand and they'll accept it better because the way you said it to them. Because like we all know, it's not necessarily what you said, but it's just how you said it, So, I would say that, in that sense, man, we have to understand, don't be blinded, man, by, something that you end up getting attention from, because you were fed up. It's like basically you didn't stay the course. You just end up going off on a tangent, but then people paid attention to you. But then you stayed over there instead of coming back and going back to what's really, the truth of the matter and getting to the truth of the matter and doing work in that sense, because we're all called to help each other. That's just what it is. Basic purpose in life. We all called to help each other, and even with this sense, even in this sense, man, you know what I'm saying? This is something that I would say happened to show us, even in this sense, that, man, America ain't fair. The justice system ain't just for black people. It's showing us that, it's that racist element is still so deep, and prevalent within the society, and it's showing us that, you know what I'm saying? And this, even from this incident, it's going to still have to be a progress, you know what I'm saying, from this to so black children can be treated fair, so black people can be treated fairly in the justice system, so it's still a process of evolution that has to take place, you know what I'm saying, even in this sense, you know what I'm saying, for us to all start operating together, trying to help each other together here in this nation, you know what I'm saying, black and white people, because it just don't work. The racism don't work, you know what I'm saying. You got people that suffer, people that still feeling ill will towards each other simply because of the color of their skin, and it's hurting the nation, you know what I'm saying. And like I said before in the video, like how much stronger we could be if we all operate together. We were trying to look out for each other instead of being divided amongst god dang on skin color. And I'm trying not to curse, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that much, the way, it's just that much of a frustration to me that we're still battling with this. The grips of racism, we still ain't let it go. And that's on the black side, it's on the white side. Because the black people feel offended because of what happened to us in the past, of what white people did to our people, our ancestors in the past, and it's still happening. So we're offended, and we're still offended. Instead of coming to grips with it and like both sides are saying, hey man, we're gonna have to work together on this. All that division and all that, man, it ain't helping us. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I just want to say that, it has to be an understanding even to evolve, man, from where we're at right now. Because even me, I got anger in my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got anger in my heart for like what happened to Karmelo and why I feel like it's an unjust system. Disparate sentencing, over incarceration, a mass incarceration of black men. Black women also, incarcerated as well. But, it's so many of us incarcerated, man. You know what I'm saying? We're on the 13% of the population is what's said. The statistics are 13% of the population, but we're 50 to 60% of the prison population. It don't make sense. Like people say, make that make sense. Please make that make sense. So yes, like we're very, in a situation, man, a very precarious situation, so, I just want to say that, man. But like I said, and even in this case, People will say, keep saying that, Carmelo is guilty and, he's a murderer and all that. Man, the man ain't no murderer. That don't make a man a murderer because he got into it with somebody and end up killing him because he end up in a spontaneous situation to where he was trying to protect himself. And I would keep saying that, that he was protecting himself. And nobody's going to let somebody, even me, people coming and watching my channel, you're not going to let me just push you around as a man. I'm just saying. You chilling somewhere and I just come to tell you need to leave. You ain't bother nobody. Nobody has bothered you, even though you might be under this tent or whatever, just chilling. Nobody has bothered you. You haven't bothered anybody. So it's no use of people, and people going to still make the excuse like he should have just left. But how can a kid, this man, you have no authority over another child to make them leave? If it was a staff member, like I said, that say, hey, you need to leave, you got a different point. But there's no staff, no adult telling him he needs to leave. And not only that, another thing that needs to be said is Austin Metcalf and his brother Hunter were known as bullies.
Here with a Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf update. Here is an email I have obtained. I believe it to be real. Just listen to this. One of the cheerleaders complaining about the twins. Coaches, the other cheerleaders and I have tried to make an effort to stay supportive and spirited throughout the football season. However, the disrespect we feel coming from some of the football players is making it very difficult. Today, after our game against Liberty, some of us cheerleaders in uniform went to Canes. While talking amongst ourselves about the loss, Hunter Metcalf stood up and yelled that my friend and fellow varsity cheerleader is a fat bitch. I don't understand what triggers his rages, but to yell this unprovoked made us all really upset and was incredibly embarrassing for my friend, as everyone is in Canes looked at her and started laughing. We see the Metcalfs act out time and time again, but we trust that there is no repercussions or some sort of consequence, so we stay out of it. But for it now to be directed towards one of the people that shows up to every game to support and cheer them on is astounding to me. After they left Canes, one of the other football players told us that Hunter said his hands were bisexual, implying that he would not only hit guys, but also girls. She is not embarrassed, but genuinely scared, especially after seeing the way he can act on the field. I'm only coming to you because I feel that you should be aware that he is acting like this in public spaces, which is not good for our school's representation and is discouraging us from keeping the cheerleading them on. I'm sorry for even having to come to you about this, but after tonight, it truly feels like it's getting out of hand. I recognize that he may be upset that we lost, but there is no justification for the way he treated my friend tonight. I would also appreciate for my name to stay confidential, as I fear what they would do if they knew. Why did Mike Howard not enter this in Karmelo Anthony's defense? There's so much that has been left out of this trial that we will keep it awake, and I will always expose their secrets for the community. Secret Service Sam Out Sampson for president of the world.
Girls, like literally, they talking about beating up on girls. Like these are little kids. I don't know, me and my partner, we just don't. A man, as a man, don't hit on girls. I've learned from young age, you don't hit on girls, you don't hit on no women. That's just not manly. You know what I'm saying? So, don't know who raised them, but somehow I don't know where they got that from. But that's not cool. That's not manly. You know what I'm saying? Even as a teenager, an adolescent, that's not what a little boy or a man should ever do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where they got that from, but they were known as bullies. These little girls, okay, they cheerleaders or people that went to their school, so said that they said they would put their hands on little boys and little girls, or teenage girls and teenage boys. It didn't matter, like they saying something about their hands are bisexual or some of that nature. But because the guy mentioned that, like, hey, why wasn't this not his trial attorney? He didn't bring this up. You know what I'm saying? So like they like, where in the world why didn't they bring it up? Why didn't he bring it up? You know what I'm saying? So and that's mitigating you know, evidence. That's somewhat like mitigating evidence. Mike Howard, yeah, that's something like mitigating evidence, you know, or could be considered mitigating evidence, you know what I'm saying? Because they know that Karmelo, and this is the thing. Most time people go to different schools or whatever, you're gonna know who's who at other schools. You're gonna know who's the bully, who's the athlete, maybe like football players, you know what I'm saying? You don't know who the cheerleader, you don't know who's who at the other schools. So this pretty sure Karmelo knew about them. You know what I'm saying? He may not have, but I'm just saying, you have kids that may be aware of other kids that could harm them or that are considered, bullies or, people that, get in fights and, instigate things, at certain schools or whatever it may be, certain parties or whatever it may be, right? Probably knew of them in some form or fashion. So he's feeling like, man, shit, I know I got to do something. You know what I'm saying? Because the way what they known for is beating up on people. See what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you gotta, cause all that has to be considered. All that has to be considered. And that's why it just has to be understood, man. That you just can't do, man. You just, like I said, you just cannot, and some people just are not gonna be bullied, man. Some people are not gonna be bullied and will stand up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I would say there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong standing up for yourself. You can handle stuff differently or whatever, but like I said, man, you cannot go around thinking everybody is just gonna be accept you jumping on them or threatening them or whatever it may be. Everybody's just not going to accept that. So that's what needs to be understood. Everybody is not going to accept that. And we have to be real, with this situation. Instead of just saying, oh, Karmelo, he deserves he deserves to get the chair. He deserves to burn, you know what I'm saying? All of that, it's just, come on, man. Like, we have to really consider this. Like, it's not that, he did, he was just really trying to get in trouble or do something, trying to be a badass, back along with them. It's like, shit, hey, man, I don't know what's going on, what they're about to do, but this is like, yeah, I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared, or I'm going to have to defend myself, or both. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared and I'm going to have to try to defend myself because I don't know what they finna do. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like they finna beat up on me, though. You know what I'm saying? So shit, man. I'm scared and I feel like I need to defend myself. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, come on, man. I said certain things he didn't present should have been presented, but didn't present them, man. So that's insufficient. Legally called insufficient representation. You know what I'm saying? Your basically your counsel. It's insufficient representation with basically your counsel, really. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure, and that's what they're gonna end up challenging as well. You know what I'm saying? Insufficient assistance of counsel, or saying something. I'm pretty sure like it's gonna be something is gonna be brought up, in that appeal process about inefficient assistance of counsel. But anyway, yeah, I just want to say that, man. I'm glad he got the Appellate team. You know, I just hope this, everything is, like I said, they can meet out everything, man, get everything, the arguments or whatever the legal challenges raised, and he can get his further in court, man. Get his further in court. That's the main thing. Regardless of what's everybody's saying, whether people that want to see him harmed, and us that wants to see him get fair treatment in court. I just saying, that's what really needs to happen. Fairness, man, overall. And I'm telling some people that don't support him as well. Just fairness. That's what needs to happen, man. Not somebody saying, "Oh, you thought this, he's a killer," and I throw all that out. What about the fairness of the process? Because like I said, if you had a child in the same situation, you want him to be treated fairly. He or she to be treated fairly. That's all we saying, man. That's all we asking for. And I would say this as well. For those that, there are other antagonists, whether it makes sense enough to you or not, you are antagonizing Karmelo so much so to where you're not even remorseful for the Metcalf family. And like I said before, make that make sense. Where's the remorse for them? Instead of antagonizing Karmelo so much, you going at him so much. Where's the remorse for the family? And I would say that even about like Charles White. Like, where's the remorse for the family? You just up here out to make money off of the anger of Jeff Metcalf, off of his misplaced judgment and anger. You know what I'm saying? Misguided, anger. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an adolescent way of thinking. You racist just to be racist. You know what I'm saying? You hating just because you are inclined to hate somebody because they black. In that sense, he's still a child. You know what I'm saying? God, his children, they didn't get a chance to become, one of them didn't get a chance to think like an adult, probably because what he imparted to him. He's still thinking like a child. End up getting his child, end up in a very detrimental situation. End up losing his life. So yeah, man, Charles White. That's another thing, man. It's like, nah, man. I'm not accepting the behavior. And for other people to accept that type of behavior coming from you, you know what I'm saying? When the fact is, had this not even occurred, you wouldn't even try to even be in the limelight. You just kind of coming in the, getting in them in the light. You know what I'm saying? Get your name out there. Come on, man. Instead of just like, hey, man, letting that go and like, man, stepping out the way aside. Really, you have to even get in the picture because really, they don't. What was the reason anyway? Was it to get your name back out there, or just kind of get some more attention? Like, come on, man. That's why I said, me and we got to stand on principle. That type of behavior, that's come on, man. Leave that somewhere over there. Like, for real, we're gonna be mean instead of being out here being crazy just to get some attention, acting crazy just to get some attention. You know what I'm saying? I would say this is black women, don't raise your black son to be out here, man, just wilding out for no reason, just to try to seek attention and to get a few dollars in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? It should always be about, for our people, trying to help our people in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? While we out here anyway, another thing, the whole thing is to try to get resources, man, to give back to the people. Because it don't make sense to even be rich, but you're not helping your people, man. Like, for real, man. Take that in consideration, for real. Ain't necessary to be rich for what? You know what I'm saying? We need them resources for our people. We see what it is, and we see why we need to help each other. This whole case right here, it shows us right now. You know what I'm saying? How the system is still set up. You know what I'm saying? As a detrimental system to hinder black people if you get caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? But in it's other things, you know, like I said, it's other systems that's set up, you know. All the whole thing, you know what I'm saying, towards the detriment of our educational, like I said. I was out going medical, you know what I'm saying, certain unfair, it's economic as well, you know what I'm saying. Getting certain things we can't get, bank loans and other loans and things of that nature, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just unfairness in that sense, you know, but the justice system is one of them, and it's showing us, you know, what needs to change, you know. But anyway, like I said, you know, this whole thing, man, I know that, you know, from this though, we can still evolve and get better as a people, you know, as a people coming together. What we need to do as a people coming together, you know, and also same thing in this nation too, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's just not, man. It's not working. Racism ain't working, man. You know what I'm saying? And I would say, like I told, you know, Charleston White, people out there, man, you know what I'm saying, being racist for no reason. Say, man, get out the bullshit. Like seriously. You know what I'm saying? That shit lame as fuck. You being racist toward black people simply because they black. That shit lame. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get on up out of here, man. I just want to say that. You know, I hope all y'all out there, hope y'all doing well, living life for the love and happiness. You know, strive for greatness every day, you know, being great, you know, strive for greatness. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all liking, sharing my videos. Comment on video, because like I said, hey man, shit, we comment on video where we agree or disagree. We can hash it out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, appreciate y'all looking at the video, sharing, liking, comment. Until next to y'all. All right, y'all. Love y'all.
Bucket, go ahead and blow off the dough. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change a page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing. On some real shit, we ran the world.